Hello, and welcome to Philip Talks. I'm Philip, and today we're going to be working on my 1981 Corvette. The signal switch broke a few years back. Never got around to it, but today we are. I'm going to bring you along for the ride. Anyway, you're going to have a little few tidbits here and there that you may not know about, and so we can replace the signal switch. Okay, without further ado, let's go. Let's get to work. So, let's get started. First thing you gotta do is undo your battery, because we're gonna go into the harness later and you don't want to short anything out. Second thing we're gonna do is you gotta take off your hazard switch on the side here. All right. It's on the right hand side below your key ignition. So let's take that out. Spring. So don't lose any of it. Like I just did, I dropped it. But but no problem. I will get it. Second thing we do is put your fingers underneath the horn button right here, and we're gonna pry this off. Alrighty? So pry it off. Boom, just like that. Okay, so this stays on by indentations here, by these springs here. Next, we're going to take off this is your horn contact. All right, there are 3 screws here. All right, let's take the 3 screws out. Yes. So what you have here is a horn contact here. You got a couple shims. I have one. And this is all she wrote. Just keep it together. All right. This is a spacer for the horn contact to go into the hub down there. So just keep it together there to hold it steady on the dashboard. Next thing you're going to see here, this is your locking ring for your telescoping wheel. See, I just loosened it, tighten it. I'll show you how to adjust that later, but you should, at this point, just note where everything goes. You know, you can mark it with a marker if you want, but I'm going to show you how it goes back together afterwards, so you really don't need to. Anyway, so you may have 2 screws like I do here, or 1. All right, and what these do, they hold in the start screw in the middle. So you take those screws out. Like I mentioned, some people have 1, some people have 2. I happen to have 2 on here, like so. All right, put those away. Next is your start screw here. Just loosen that up. Now when you do, the whole thing is going to loosen up. So your telescoping wheel is going to loose, and so it's going to fall back. So just keep that in mind, hold it up. So now you got nothing to go by here. See, it's just going to be loose all the time. So take that off with your finger, like so. All right. 5/16 18 bolt. And this is your locking wheel. Next, take off your steering wheel. 6 screws, and then put that aside. Alrighty. So we take off these 6 screws, and we take off the steering wheel. So at this time, I took off most of my screws, taking off the last one here. Before you do though, mark where the wheel is. Yours may be off-centered. Mine's centered right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. But if yours is off-centered because your wheels are turned when you started this, you want to mark it. Okay? And also the back plate here, you want to mark it. So let me take off this last screw, like so. Put that aside. And this is just a cap that goes over your hub. Okay? Now if you notice, you have indentation up here. That's where the locking nut goes on. Well, I call it a locking nut. See, goes right into that groove there. It's locked here, it's loose there. And mine right now is at, like I mentioned, it's like 12 o'clock, but yours might be different. Well, this is going to be the same wherever your hub is. So it might be a little to the left, might be to the right. So mark it, just basically where you're at with these two together. Any marks in here or up here. But I will help you when we put it together. Next thing you're going to do is take out, this is your horn contact. Alright? You take this out, it's 3 parts. Horn contact, horn button. That's a horn button actually. You got a spring, you got a button, and you got a stopper up here. So you got 3 things here, okay? So don't lose that. Next thing you're going to need is a 13/16. Here's a big nut right here you got to take off. Alright. Should be on there pretty tight. So let's see what happens here. It was pretty tight. Not too bad though. Now you're going to need a puller. I have a 3-jaw puller I'm going to use. And you may have a different type of puller, but that's what we need to get this off. So we have the puller on now. And then to adjust my adjustable wrench, use a socket or this, and you're going to tighten it down, of course. Wait till it pops off. Hopefully it's easy. So far mine's not too easy. A lot of pressure on there. Come on. Boom. Look at that. Nice. Okay, so what you have here now is the hub. So put that aside. So next, what you're going to see here is now are bumpers. Bumpers, spacers, I call them bumpers because when you put down telescoping wheel so it doesn't bang. So you have a plastic washer, rubber washer, and a plastic washer. Alright? Just note how it goes on. Here you have a cap. So to get this off, you just need a small screwdriver, or I'm going to use the Phillips head that I had before. Get this underneath it and it pops off. There, like so. Alright? Like that. So, you have this locking plate here, and you have a C-ring in here. Alright? Now, you need a special tool to get that C-ring off. Here's the locking plate. Now you need a special tool, like I mentioned before, and you can get it on Amazon. Now, you're going to need a special bolt. Not special, but you're going to need a certain bolt, which is a 5/16/18 bolt that has to go into your center here where that star screw went before, because you got to lock down your telescoping wheel so you have to get this to work. So what I did was I took a bolt, I took the head off, and I put a groove in it, so I put a screwdriver in there. A lot of people use hex bolts, which will work perfectly. Just make sure it's about 1 inch long. Alright, so I'm putting the bolt in like so. You can do it finger tight actually, but sometimes it's not good enough. And you think you're pushing down the lock plate and this whole thing is pushing up on you. So I'll just give it a little tweak with that. So here's that tool I was mentioning about before. It goes right over. That's why you got to take the head off. It goes right over, and it screws onto the threads that the nut was on when we took off the hub. So once you have it tight, you pull this down. I'll have to get my adjustable wrench again and adjust it So I can start bringing this down because there's a heavy spring behind there. I'm going to show you that too because we got to take that out also. So just start pushing this down. So the lock plate right now is being pushed down to loosen up the lock ring. And you can see how loose it is. You just have to touch it, and if it wiggles like that, it's loose, believe me, because it won't wiggle at all if it's on tight. Okay, there you go, lock ring. Put that aside. Now we can take off this sucker. Then we take that lock plate off. Now on the back of that lock plate connects your canceling signal switch. Signal switch cancellation. Okay, so that's loose. Get underneath here, screw this off, like so. Just keep that nut on there because you're gonna need it for later. So you just have to wiggle this off. This only goes on one way, but you can mark it to make sure you put it on correctly. But as you can tell, it's a diagonal with two flats on each side. Well, not diagonal, rectangle, sorry. It's a rectangle, and here's your canceling cam right there. That's your canceling cam. And as you can see, it fits right in the back of here. Alrighty, like so. Put that aside. Next thing you're going to do is take off this top screw here. What that top screw is, it's a steel metal that connects to your blinker lever. Alright, it's the metal that connects your signal switch to your lever. So once that's loose, don't lose that, of course. Put that aside. Grab the piece of metal and it will pull right out. And I'll show you how to put that in after. A little tricky, but you can do it. So make sure this is in the off position. Right now it's turning left, so just push down like so, right in the middle, so it's on the off position. And so you can get these. We need 3 screws out here. Let me show you. This one, and not the one up here. Alrighty. And this is your signal switch. So let's start getting that off. Then once you get these 3 bolts out of here, I'm going to show you what to do down below to unhook the from the wiring harness, because the wiring goes through your steering column to above the brake pedal. So once you get to this section, push down so you can get to the top. Okay, so you get to the top screw. They should be on there pretty tight. And then we take that out. I loosened the 3 screws. So now to take them out, you could put your fingers in here, and try to pop them out. You know, you can grab them one by one, but sometimes, I know other ones that I've done, it's a bummer to get them out. But anyway, after you take that top screw out, you can put this on the off position, and then you can take this middle spring off. Okay, that's what the locking plate was pushing on when we want to get it off. Pretty heavy duty spring there. So anyway, I'm going to use a magnet to take off the rest of these. So much simpler. Bada boom, bada bang. And now, before you take this out, I want to show you what to do underneath to unhook the end of this. Right now you can start taking it out. Alright, put your fingers in here, try to grab a hold of it. Best thing to do, what I found out, is to get a pliers, rip part of it, but I basically have it now because if you wiggle it back and forth, part of it will pop out. So now I'm pulling this, and here's the harness that goes down to the main harness underneath. So I'm going to show you that. A lot of people don't, but I'm going to go down there and show you that. So let me get some light for you. Okay, I got some light now, and I'm going to take you down to show you exactly what it looks like under here, so you could do your own repair. So here we go. We got some light on the subject, and this is tight for me. I'm 6'1". Yeah, this is not happy. But anyway, you gotta do what you gotta do. So what you see here, right here, is this is the harness to your blinkers, okay? That goes up until there's a hole that it comes out in the steering column. Here's your steering column behind it, right? Here, these are your connections to the wiring harness. Now it's connected to your steering column, and you just have to push up on it. All right, let me get the light situated a little bit better. Okay, you just have to take it and push up on the whole thing. Just push up on the plastic, like that. See, it goes into those connectors here, these bottom side pieces here. All right, so here we are. This is connected up top. This is your wiring harness, so we need to take that off. Got them loose. Now to use two hands. So here's one. I'm just going to pull it off, and the other one just pulled off because I loosened it already. So this is part of your signal. All right. And here's your harness, the car harness. So now what you can do right now, cut this, because since it's broken anyway, the signal switch, you don't need it. You just cut this and you pull it straight out. Unfortunately, I did not bring a tool with me to cut. Now that I told you to cut the back of it, it's the best way to get this out. But since I didn't have nothing to cut with, I had to take it out the old way. So here's the hole that it goes through, and I had to take the whole switch, the bottom of it, and push it through, coming back up. It's not that hard, it's just more difficult. Okay, so let's take out the new one. And the new one is, I'm going to show you, it's a standard TW8. I got this on Amazon also, not sponsored. Let's take this out. Looks like the same deal. I'll check it out before I put it in, make sure. And I just want to show you one more thing before I do, while I'm here. If you ever need to change your key system out, okay, your ignition key, this is what you have to do. You have to do all these parts that I just showed you, and then just one extra thing. You have to pull, see this white with the two brass, this is a switch. This is your buzzer switch. When the key's in ignition, you hear it goes off. That's what this is. You pull this out gently with a needle nose pliers, and under there, right here, can you see that? Right here is a Phillips head screwdriver. Phillips head, I should say. Just undo that. Once you get that off, this whole ignition assembly will come right out. Just put the new one in, put in the Phillips head screw, push this back in, ta-da, you just change your ignition switch. Alright, so no sense in making another video on that. If you're watching this, you could do that. So it comes like this out of the box. Now there's a hole down in there. Let me get another flashlight. See right down there? There's a hole down there. It goes right through the column to the bottom. So let's check that out. All right. So we're going to put this sucker through like so. All right, hold on a second. Yeah, like so. Sometimes it needs a little help. And if it does, I use my screwdriver, my long screwdriver, or anything else you might have handy just to push it down. So there we go. Then once you get past a certain spot there, you will feel it. Just push down and you will feel when it comes. Because also what happens is you see it on the, there it is, see? Use my feet. Look at that. See it down there? Wiggling. Yep, that's it. So you know you're good. Sorry about using my feet there. So what I'm going to do is, when you put this back in, by the way, you want to make sure that, to make it simple for you, you see this round disc right here that pops up, goes into this round hole right here. All right, to make it a little more simple for you. But you will feel it once it goes in. You will feel it connect, and you'll feel it seat. Like now, I just felt it. You could tell it's not going anywhere. You could tell it's solid. All right. So that's what you want to do. Now from here, you want to put in your 3 screws back in. Alrighty, so there you go. Sorry, my hands are in the way. I'm going to tighten this down. Alright, just snug it. You don't have to kill it. It's only plastic. Alright. Like so. And now I'm going to take, there's a bearing in the middle of this. So I'm going to put it on the off position. Now I'm going to squirt in liquid wrench. White lithium grease. Alright, so I'm going to squirt that in there. My tube fell off, so I gotta find the tube. They always fall off, don't they? There we go. Alright, so I'm just gonna squirt a little bit in there, back in here. Alright, you got bearings in there. And who knows the last time these were lubricated. Alright, you can see the little lube here. They put a lot of lube in here from the factory. You can see that. Alright, so that's cool. What you want to do next, I'm going to show you, is you want to put back the metal, the piece of metal that connects your lever, blinker lever, to the contact. Now inside here, get another flashlight right there. I don't know if you can see it well. I hope so, you can. But it looks like a V. All right, it's a open V right here, right there. Okay, that's where the end of this metal piece goes into. So this is the open V, and as you go in, it gets a little smaller. All right, and what happens is this part here, all right, that part there, let me shut the flashlight. This part here goes into that. So hold it like so, wiggle this up and down. I usually put it up and then get it in there, and then I bring it down, and you have to slide it in. All right, and you know when you get it. Right now it's stuck. See, I'm showing you everything because this is things that could happen to you. Don't panic, don't pull it, don't do anything major. Just set it right in there again. Alright? Set it in there. Don't push it in. Just do gentle. And come up to where it belongs, which is in this rectangle spot here. You see it there? This rectangle spot? Right here. And here's the hole for the screw. So if you know that's where it goes, so you gotta play with it. Once you get it up in that area, you kind of can hold it there, right? And it just went in. It's kind of hard to tell you, to show you, but it's a feel. All right. So I know it's in there right now. See how tight that is? So I know it's definitely in there. So now I'm going to get the screw that I took out earlier, of course. So I can put that back in there. Okay, got it. Got my screw. So now, I'm going to back this up a little. Put the screw back in there. Really tight. I have big hands, so if I could do it, you could do it. Just screw that back in. Your screw may be different. It's usually black. I guess the person lost it on this particular car a while ago. And snug it in there. Alright, so see how that's tight? Well, it's loose. It looks loose, but it's tight. So let's see if it works. Left, off, right, off, left, off, right. Here we go. Not bad. So let's tighten this up just a little more, just to make sure it's snug. Very cool. Make sure these are tightened down now. All right, your 3 screws. All right. Make sure they're tightened. Remember, don't kill it. You don't need to be extra tight. Just very snug. It's not going to go anywhere. So let's put this back in the off position like so. Let's get the large spring we had and put that back in. There's no wrong or right with this one, okay? Either way it goes in. No front or back, all right? Put it back in the middle like so. And we're good there. Now I'm going to show you underneath again, okay, what I did before. Okay, I think I got it this time. Let's try squeezing it together. There we go. Hear that click? Then you go to the small one over here, like so. Get it in that groove. Boom. All right. See, now up here, here's where you put it back on the steering column. These 2 clips on the end go right up in here. Right up in here. Okay. I'll do that better later. Now let's go back up and reassemble. So now what we're going to do is put the spring back in. Heavy duty spring, remember? Put that back in. And then we have to get the locking plate in. First we're going to put in the canceling cam, and the locking plate goes together. So here's the canceling cam, like I showed you before. Put that right back in. Goes in one way. Just pay attention to up here. All right, your horn button up there has to go in between this U shape out of the locking. All right, so when you push down, you're clearing it. All righty. So then we're going to get our tool. Remember our tool? We're going to put it back on. so we can push down the locking plate. Some time there, I just brought this down until the locking plate went down. As you can see, it went through here, so I missed that. So I'm going to get my C-clip like you took off before, put it back up in here. Sorry I'm in the way, but I think you get it. There, see how it dropped in there? Beautiful. Then we just undo this. Alright, so it sits on that. Take this off quick, like boom. See, I'm just undoing it. And as you can see, I still have my locking screw in there. But now what we could do, we're going to put a cover on the locking cam. Like we took off before. Mine's a black cover, some are different colors. Mine's a new one because mine fell apart on the old one. So this only goes on one way. Alright, so you just push that down. You'll hear a little click. The next thing we do is put the bushings back on. Remember, 3 pieces. Plastic, washer, rubber hose, or rubber, then plastic again. Alrighty, alright. So now it's time for the hub to go back on. The hub, of course, your steering wheel hooks onto that, so it's important because you need a steering wheel. Alright, I just wanted to mention the horn button up there and this hole right here. There's a horn pin that we put in later, but it has to line up. So if you got screwed up when we took it off, if you don't remember, if you line that up, you're good. Alright, good if you line that up. Now if you can't get it on, you gotta take off the middle screw here that we hold down the locking plate so you can push this up for yourself. Alright, or you won't be able to get on the hub. This has to be pulled out. And if you got where you were, let's make sure those horn buttons line up and you'll be good. Alright, so then you just move it around a little bit so you get into the spline, those little grooves, so it hooks in together. So mine looks like it lines up pretty good. Alright, see that? Here, and then that button back there. So we know we're good. So now we have to get our nut. Put the nut back on, like so. Tighten it down tight. Since your steering wheel's going on here, you don't want that falling off, that's for sure. Alright. Tighten it down tight, please. Like so. So it's on there pretty good. Right, next we're going to put that horn button back on like I was mentioning. 3 pieces if you remember how we took it off before. Horn button, the stop up here, and the spring. Alright, just remember this stop up here has 2 nubs that's sticking out. So you have to remember that because this plastic piece has an opening and those nubs have to go through that opening so it can push down all the way through like that. See that? Alright, next we're going to put on, make sure you put the cover on before the steering wheel. Alright, then you just line that up like I mentioned before. You can see where the screws go. Yeah, you can line it up, don't worry, you get it. Right, you get 1 or 2 screws in there, then you get the other ones in and then finish it up. Those on pretty snug. You'll be ready to go. Alrighty, so like I said, I didn't want to bore you putting these 6 screws in, but here's the plate you put on, and then I put on my steering wheel. I'm just tightening them down now, snugging them down. Alright, make sure everything's good here. Next thing we're going to put on is the locking mechanism for your telescoping wheel. All right, the locking ring. I'm going to show you how to adjust that now. So you get the locking ring, and you also get your star nut. Remember the star nut? All right. So right now you're free here. So when this is free, that means your locking system is to the left. All right. So what I'm going to do is to show you, you're going to put your screw in. All right. Put that screw in. Leave the locking ring where it is. Now, you had 2 screws or 1 screw when you took that out. So you want to grab those also. They're very small. Okay. Mine are like this. You see that in there? See, very small. So right now, I did it by hand. And it's pretty tight. All right. But you want to do a little more by hand. You know, that's why this locking ring will do it for you. So I'm going to keep it here, and I'm going to put in my screws. I'm going to see how it operates. All right, so I'm going to put 1 screw in. Be careful with these. You don't want to cross thread them because they're small and delicate. All right. Okay, tighten 1 down. That's all I need for now. All right, like so. So mine is all the way up. So I'm going to go to the right. See, I'm tight, very tight. I'm going to the left. Good. Go to the right a little more. Yep, good enough. I like it. So that's how you can adjust it. If not, you just turn this a little more, your locking ring, and then you'd be all good. So I had 2 of these screws here. Alrighty. So I had 2, so I'm going to put the 2 back. Like so. And that's pretty tight. Snug them up. The next you're going to put on is what we took off. Is your horn contact and springs. Alright, this is a spacer. This is your horn contact. Now, if you got screwed up, like I mentioned before, don't worry. You know the 2 screws go to the top right. Bottom one goes 6 o'clock, goes down. But as long as this plunger here connects to this plunger, you're good. That's how you know you're good. See this? That's your horn. So when this gets pushed by your horn button on top, it will go off. So make sure this is going to push on to that. So once you have it like so, you know it's underneath there, you know you're good. And like I kept this together, like I showed you before. These are your washers in here, your spacer, and the horn button itself. So let's tighten these down. Then we're almost finished. So let's push this down. We're almost finished. I'll put those 3 screws on. I'm going to tighten them down now. Snug them down. You don't really need to over tighten anything here. Just snug it down, snug it down. All right. So when the horn goes on, which is these parts, it will beep. So, we're almost to the end, my friends. Now you're going to get your horn button, which is, ta-da! So what you want to do with this, you want to go into the side, like up or down. You don't want to go straight in. All right. You can if it fits, but sometimes some are tighter than others. Like these pieces here, some are squeezed in more and it's hard to get in. So I like to just go in a little angle like that, and I punch it in. Hear that snap? There we go. We're in. See, now check out the locking ring. I loosen it, up and down, no problem. Tighten it. Good, not going nowhere. Let's check out the blinker situation. Good. Off. Right. On. Left on. Yeah. Looking good. Now the last thing, super last thing we're going to do is put on your hazard switch. You got 3 pieces, actually 4 with the screw. Alright. So then what you're going to do is this piece goes onto here and this goes inside here. Alright. And you're going to turn it until it goes all the way through. So you can push it all the way through. Then you get the screw. And so like I said, I just screwed this in here. Alright. It helps you have a small screwdriver. It's a very small Phillips head. So you just want to snug this, don't. So let's push it in. It stays. Pull it out. Push it back in. Alright. Looks like it's working good. Alrighty guys. You did it. We did it. Okay. So that's how you do it. Changing out your blinker switch. I hope that helped you with this. If I did, thumbs up please. Like and subscribe. I have a couple other videos I'm doing on this Vette, and maybe you like them. Some upgrades. Alright, until then, take care of yourselves, and I'm out of here. Take care.